Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Mental Hellness. I am super excited for this episode because we are going to be talking to Rico Rodriguez, who is a storyteller, a story writer, a drag performer, and a teacher. He writes and tells stories about his life and his family, as well as fictional tales. He is a founding member of Queers in Your Ears, an annual LGBT storytelling event, which is in its 23rd year in Toronto. He has told stories throughout Canada and the US. He's been on the CBC in Canada and NPR in the States. He does it all, and he does it with such warmth and flair. He is just a joy, so let's admit him.
Hey,
Hey,
hi, how are you?
where's your face?
Oh,
It's no good if we don't see your face.
I know. Oh, sorry, hold on a second.
But
Why
it's
is it?
okay. You've got such a voice for radio too, so it's okay.
Is this? Why is this?
I
Oh,
don't. There
there
we
we go.
go.
Hey, how are
Hi,
you?
Rico. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me and deciding to chat with me a little bit about all things mental healness,
Oh gosh.
which there's a
Yeah.
lot, right? We never, I've done about 13 of these, and there has never been a time when we've run out of things to say because it's funny, even if you think, I don't know really what I'm going to talk about, everybody's got a story about mental healness or everybody's got a take on it. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yes, definitely. And I think it's not well. It's always topic of the month, but this is a topic of the times.
Definitely. How have you been doing with this these 7 months of crazy?
Um, You know what? I've had my moments. I have to say. I mean, I was pretty concerned at the beginning, and I thought I knew what I needed to do. Just follow the rules, right? I'm a
Yes.
good boy,
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, so this is what we need to do, and to take care of ourselves and take care of others. But I've had my ups and downs. I was mostly concerned about my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and because she was in a nursing home, and also some members of my family who have immunocompromised systems,
Mm-hmm.
and also my sister lives in Peru, which is right now Peru is the country that per capita has the highest death rate in the world.
Really, I didn't know that.
But again, it affects you if you're middle class, it affects you a bit less.
Yeah.
If you're not stupid, I have to say, I'm not going to be kind and generous. I mean, these days, if
Yeah.
if you go out and you party and you don't wear a mask and you do silly
You're an
things,
idiot. You're an idiot.
yes, yeah, I mean, it's
And you're
very,
mean and you're so it even goes beyond inconsiderate, doesn't it? It just
yeah,
it's dangerous and reckless.
exactly, and so, yeah, and I've to say, I've seen some members of my family. They had a small wedding.
Hmm.
But no, they had pictures and they were all together in a picture and no masks. And I'm thinking, and
Does that make you crazy?
they're in the medical profession,
Oh God.
and I'm thinking, I I don't know if I can trust you anymore. You
It's
know, and
it's
yeah,
alarming, isn't it? I don't
yeah,
know about you, but when I get so worked up now when I see people not following the rules. I am probably that real pill of a person now that's always like either I'm going to take a step back and not associate anymore, or I'm going to judge like crazy. I've never been so judgmental
I know.
as I've been this last 7 months.
Yeah, so this is, and I have family in Spain, so I mean, I've been worried about people in my family who live in the hotspots, and I've
Yeah.
had moments of anxiety, but uh, I have said to people. Uh, I, I tried to be kind, but at the same time, I had to be a couple of times had to be firm.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you a little funny story. My nephew, my sister's son, he's a dentist, and he was the COVID fascist in the family. When we at the beginning of the pandemic, you know, there's a lot of Zoom meetings, and we also have a lot of birthdays between the end of March and some the middle of June.
Hmm.
There's a ton of birthdays in the family. So we were like meeting almost every other week. And I went to from the dollar store from the past. I had like little birthday things, and I was putting happy birthday behind, and I was having parties, and I was baking banana bread like everybody with the little candles. I had my little candle.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
you know,
Your little tea light.
yeah, my tea light, and so I was singing. We were singing happy birthday, and I was blowing that candle. It was silly, it was fun, but he was the one who was telling us, you have to wear PPEs, you have to do this, because he
Mhm.
couldn't work as a dentist. He couldn't work, and then
Right.
I think at the end of May he went back to work, and he was doing emergency work, and some of his friends, dentist friends, they were not working at all, and his the dental office was totally prepared, right? He took the
Right.
time, invested money, and then he worked like crazy. And sometime in July, he took a week off just to, and he does windsurf, and I think he has a timeshare with a friend south of Lima, where he lives like in another province. And he went there, and the friend, so he got a COVID test. His girlfriend got a COVID test. The friend got a COVID test. They were all COVID free,
Yeah.
and they went down. And the friend invited somebody from the south, and they came, and a little girl had a fever, and she gave COVID to all of them.
No way. Your
Yes,
nephew too?
my nephew got it, and he was a
Wow.
COVID fascist.
And a
he
little girl took him down.
Yeah, and within days, I mean, they were there, and they wouldn't. It was too late. They got exposed,
Yes.
and they actually left early. I mean, they were there for a couple of days, and he said, I can't be here. I mean, this is
Right.
stupid, and so, but when he went home, he got sick. Now he's 44, so he had a bad flu. That's what happened, and his girlfriend got a bad flu,
But
and
but you don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
I
it's
know,
such a risk and it's such a gamble,
yeah.
and it makes me wild, crazy
Hmm.
when I hear people say, "Oh, but if you get it, it's not that big of a deal." How do you know? How do you know?
So for me, the anxiety piece is that it's unknown.
Yep.
They're talking about blood work, so not blood work, blood types.
Yep.
If you have this blood type, it can affect you more, and that's one theory. And the people say touching surfaces, not touching surfaces. So I mean, my hands have become alcoholics.
I know. That everybody's hands have aged them.
Oh
Everybody's
yes,
got like the hands of an 80-year-old and
the chicken hands.
yeah, exactly.
But so, so what happened to me is that in February, January, February, we were going on strike as elementary teachers, and the high school teachers were doing a lot of rotating strikes, and I got really sick. Like I've never been sick in my life, with some sort of flu. Could have been this in
Mm.
February. Could have been COVID. I called telehealth. They said you were not in China, you don't get a test. You were not overseas, you don't get a test.
Yeah.
And I
So
don't
you were
think,
even asking for one, like you were like,
yeah,
check me
because
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
check me out because I was reading about this. Because already COVID was out already in the news, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, maybe I have it, and so I didn't. I did not get tested, but I was sick, and then I ended up taking a leave from work, and then when I was somewhat ready to go to work. Um, it was March 13 when they closed the schools anyways. And I was having some, my mental health wasn't prepared to go back. I was just in uncertain times, and it was affecting me. And I decided, uh, my doctor said it's better to just not go back, because
Right.
I was very unsure what was going to happen. And so my anxiety level was high, and I thought, what, I need to just take care of myself and chill. And every day at around 3:30, 4 o'clock, I lost my voice.
Okay.
It was I thought it was like a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old when they're
Do you think
changing
that
their
was
voice.
some sort of weird anxiety side effect?
Could have been, or they say could have been COVID side effect.
Could
I
have
don't
been.
know anything.
Wow.
So I, um, but in some way, that whole thing gave me a bit of a false sense of security.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I had it. No, you didn't. I had it. No, you didn't. But um, but I'd had to go back to work in September 1st.
Right.
Actually, September 1st we worked online. September 2nd, I went to my school, and my school is in a high. I work in a separate school, but we're housed in a high school, and so we all work together. And that day, my bubble burst. I
Yeah.
was exposed to 40 teachers, to 40 different bubbles. It was
Mm-hmm.
like bubble feast, right?
I wanted to ask you about that because I know I said in the intro too that you're a teacher and you've just been describing some of what it's been like. But what what was it like then to sort of come out of yourself a little bit and join
Mhm.
these people? What was that like?
Uh,
What's it like now?
it's so we gotten used to it, and we keep distance.
Yeah.
And there's there's so we're following the high school model. Although my school goes from 7 to 12.
Hmm.
There's kids that are coming just virtually to my school. They only appear in the afternoon,
Hmm.
which is the virtual school. But and there's one cohort comes, say, 3 days a week, and the next week they come 2 days a week, and then there's cohort A and cohort B. So and each cohort has about 9, 10 kids, or something like that. So I feel somewhat safe,
Somewhat.
somewhat. I keep my distance. I'm sanitizing. I'm trying not to get too close. I mean, I'm talking to them at a distance. But I had to say that at the beginning, the very first day we had them in, the second cohort, sorry, so the first one was somewhat okay, with all the rules, and we had a lot of rooms closed, and to reopen them, we were going on stages, and we had to do agreements with them that how are we going to reopen them, what do you think you should do. And of course there's divergent views, and people saying,
Hmm.
oh, just don't be stupid. And I said, well, what does that mean? Don't be
Yes.
stupid. Okay.
What's your version of stupid?
Yeah. And so, like, okay, well, just do the right thing. What does that look like? And oh my God, we had to meet about this. Yes, because it's about you. And our school is a democratic school that we make decisions with the students as an alternative school. So we want them to be involved in the decision making process. And of
Mm.
course, they didn't like it. And I said, well, you want me to impose? I'll impose, but then you're going to be all pissy because, well, it was your idea, not mine.
Right.
So they don't like that kind of stuff. They're teenagers. I love them.
Oh God, I have one of those. I mean, I don't love him. But he
Anyway.
just he finished he just graduated this year.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And
My
it
God, he's
was
big now. Yeah.
he's 18.
Oh.
Um and it's interesting because when back in March when it was March break that never ended, it it was right the never ending March break. Um it was really fascinating to watch him try to navigate through sort of that new world of being
Right.
online. And I got to tell you, Rico, I was really impressed because I thought for sure that he was just going to drop the ball completely,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then I found when you don't have, and at least in the case of my son, when he didn't have all the other distractions of being in a classroom, suddenly he was nailing it. Like he was hitting it out of the
Good.
park, right?
Wow.
He was doing really, really well. He didn't like to admit that he was doing well, but he was doing well.
Mm.
Um, and it was just fascinating to see how he was sort of coming to terms with what was stupid versus what wasn't stupid and
Right.
what he should do. It's really interesting to get a teenager's perspective on this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. No, so the second cohort, let me tell you this, the
Yep.
second cohort came and they were not happy with the masks. A couple of them were,
Yeah.
they're, they have their families have their ideas. They're anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers,
Oh
it's
God.
like they're saying this is not right. And he said, well, you know what, you have rights. I understand. That was my attitude. We offer a virtual school where you don't have to wear a mask. You can be safe at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And we all be safe. And they were still like, a couple of them were pissed and like, no, and they were like,
So wait
and
a second. So I don't want to wear a mask, but I also don't want to do virtual. Right.
well, yeah, I know. It's like, no, you have an option. They were saying, we'll give you don't let me go to school. And I said, no, we're giving you an option. And also, we were not giving them, we were not saying you have to go to regular virtual. We're going to offer virtual ourselves, which is the only school really that is offered virtual,
Okay.
right? Our school. For kids, because we know that an alternative and it's a very different model, and so we are going to offer that. So yes, you could come to school and work on your own self-directed goals, and they were still like, blaming us, and I got mad. I got really mad because we were being accommodating. We were trying to be, you know, uh, nice to them, saying, okay, we understand. I'm not saying drop your beliefs. I
Right.
wasn't getting into that conversation
No.
because it's a difficult conversation.
Hmm.
But I was saying, let's look at the options. And then when the options were not, any option was not good enough, I lost it.
You did, Rico.
I did a little bit. And I said, I have not kissed my mom since March
Yeah.
13th. And I
Yeah.
used to see my mom 4 or 5 days a week, and she's in a home. And I've been through this that I had to make some life and death decisions when COVID did get to my mom's home.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out with my siblings, ventilator or not, what will happen and all this. And I had to
Wow.
make those decisions, which was like very heart wrenching,
Yes.
but necessary. And I said, and I went to see my mom July 1st.
Hmm.
I had to get a test. I missed the results, so it took me an extra 2 weeks to see her. I saw her at a distance, and my mom was saying to me, "Come here. What the hell are you doing there? No, come here. Give me a
Oh,
kiss." And I said, "I've been through all that stuff, and now kind of she gotten used to. Sometimes I go, I wear a mask. She doesn't know who it is, and so." Um, you know what? And you're telling me you don't want to wear a mask, and I'm giving you all kinds of options to accommodate you.
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something else. I said, this is when I really I lost it. I'm a gay man. And the reason I'm standing here giving you hell is because in the 80s, when they told us that we could protect ourselves, I wore a condom. So
Yeah.
that mask is your condom. And don't bug me. And,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and like they looked at me like, and they knew I'm in business. And I was like, and they kind of like dropped it,
It,
after that.
well, I mean, you can't argue with that kind of logic. And I think sometimes, like the decision that you made to share about your mom and what you've had to deal with, I think it's kind of like sharing our stories, why we share our
Hmm.
stories to make a difference, right? And sometimes to make a point.
Yeah.
And there was a perfect opportunity for you to share of yourself, something that was really personal and painful.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like you knocked them between the eyes, which is probably what was needed.
Well, this is, I said, I've lost so many friends
Yeah.
along the way that if they would have known that at the time that condos would have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
what you needed, they would have warned them like I did. They would have like,
Yeah.
oh, it's too late, and
Yeah. It's no different.
and so I think it was. I mean, it's a fine moment to
It's a
say,
fine moment. It's
but
one of your shining moments,
yeah,
right?
but you know what? I was like, my heart was beating, and oh God, and I actually run to the principal later, and I told her, like I said, I they're like they're in grade 7 to grade 12, you know, they they know about condoms. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a sex ed education. I just told them the truth. Oh,
Right.
she just in case you get calls that, so you give you a heads up. And she like,
Yes. You could get some irate parents, I
yeah,
guess. I
I
guess.
didn't want her to get sideswiped. And he goes, oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use it. She
Wow.
liked it. So,
Awesome.
so you know what? Um, I guess it's like I watched Borat the other day. I have to say, and he wears a mask down he wears like a mask as an underwear with like
Oh,
and I just that image, I thought, oh God, I hope that's not the image like the kids had in their head when I told them about that.
They probably did. They probably did. So listen, so tell me then, because I knew we wouldn't have problems filling up the time to chat, but I want to make sure. Um, so with the anxiety and everything sort of being different this year, as all the things that we've been talking about, what are some of the things that you do so that you don't go off the rails?
Well, you know what I have to say, because I work out at the YMCA, and I actually stopped going to the YMCA in February because I knew
Hmm.
there'll be a place where if I was going to get COVID,
Yeah, that was going to be it.
that was going to be it, and that, just because the nature of the place, right?
Yeah.
And so I stopped going, and I walked, I walked during COVID, during the height of the pandemic,
Hmm.
and from March to about late May, I walked about 5 or 6 kilometers a day.
Wow.
That was keeping me going. I would leave the house around 3:30 and came back around 5, and I walked.
3:30 in the morning?
No, in the
Okay, I
afternoon.
was gonna
Yeah.
say.
No, no, God, no.
So after, yeah, so 3:30, and then you'd
Yeah.
walk for an hour and a half.
Yeah, about an hour and a half. So I'll go to
Nice.
Kensington Market, and some days I was walking, fast pace. Sometimes I took my time,
Yeah.
and I actually wrote a story to I was in the True Stories Told Live. I told a story about, because what I saw, and all the stores were closed, and they would have the honest Ed's font saying "We're in this together,"
Yep.
and it made me think about the time when only gay men were in this together with some lesbian friends and some allies, and
Yeah.
we didn't have a lot of people to be together with, because
Right.
if you told them you were gay, they think, oh, are you HIV positive? And or even if you weren't, there was stigma,
Right.
and some people had it, and they started thinking, are we all in this together, or is it
Yeah.
just, are we really all in this together? And it made me think at the time when I thought, when I said to my friend who had helped me get the HIV test, because I didn't get tested for a very long time, and I ended up being negative, and I had to tell him that because he was positive.
Hmm.
And I had prepared what he said, prepared that, to tell everybody that you will be when you get the test. And if you don't have it, we celebrate. And if you have it, we celebrate anyways. And
Right.
this is 89. There was a death sentence, really.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I'm free from it in my body, not free from it in my mind.
Right.
And with COVID, we might not have it, but we have it in our mind.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's present every day.
It's
And
messing with us. It
yeah,
really is.
yeah. And I have to say, fast forward to now, right? I'm getting, I'm not doing stupid things, but I'm getting a little bit of fatigue
Yeah.
of, not being able to go and do things, and having to retreat. And
Yes.
Saturday night I went to my friend's, and he has a fire pit now. He bought a Canadian Tire, and was a gas
Yep.
fire pit, and we were outside sitting with distance.
Yep.
Each one of our bottles, I get designated chip bowl.
Yep.
I get designated glass,
Yep.
and it got cold, and we said, "Ooh, what do we do? Blankets.
Yep.
We're not going to go inside."
Yep.
And but oh my God, it's like, what are we going to do when it
You
snows?
just want to be just for a second, revert back to normal and then hope that it's okay. But you really can't, because now is when we can't let our guard down.
Yeah.
And that's really, but I think the fatigue, everybody's feeling it. And I think if you already suffer with any kind of mental health issue, it just
Mm.
adds that extra layer,
Yeah.
and it's really been hard on people for sure.
It
But
definitely has, so I just, at my school, what I'm doing is I found there's a little exercise room where I go and I hide there, and so it's my, and I know how long it's gonna last, because
yeah.
people are not noticing, but the caretaker lets me in, which is but to me, it's I just go there and I spend about an hour and a half by myself. I listen
Yeah.
to music and I work out in the elliptical. I sweat and I do a little bit of, I'm not bulking up. I'm just trying to stay a little
Trying to
bit
stay fit, trying to stay
fit. Yeah,
healthy.
yeah, that's what I'm
So,
doing. And
so
so yeah, so and staying in touch. That's the big thing for me. Staying in touch.
I was just going to ask because we're getting close to the end of our
Yeah,
conversation, and I always ask, so it sounds like you're going right in this direction. What would you leave viewers with? What tidbit or Ricoism or bit of advice would you leave our viewers with?
I think that we cannot lose perspective
Okay.
of that. uh, this is going to pass. It has to. It's going to go away. Whether we get a vaccine like next year or whenever, I think, and I think this is what I told my nephew. We just have to go like this for the next few months, but still breathe because
Yes.
he's going through some stuff too. I said, just hold your nose, but keep breathing,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
funny. But I think that in do things that not to become a hero, not to like write the book, just do things that you thought you haven't done in a while, you wanted to do. Just
Yeah.
concentrate on it, and you just be happy that you can, there's food, that
Yeah.
just find joy in the small blessings,
Yes.
because I think that's what's going to keep us going, that that you have people, the friends, that you have family, reach out.
Yeah.
um I was doing a lot of reaching out, and you know what? Oh my God, I've had two friends that died, not of
Oh,
COVID, but in the
but
last little while, and I'm glad I reached out, because it's like
mhm.
they ended up, one had cancer and the other one had cancer, but they didn't know.
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, keep living. This is what I would say. Just keep going. Um,
I love
you
it.
know, and read, and there's I mean, if you can afford it, Netflix. I know that some people have lost their jobs, but there's other things, right?
But just
That
I think you said it perfectly. The two things that I got out of that is perspective and keep living.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really because what's the alternative, right? We curl up into a ball
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
life just passes us by because life is happening anyway,
Yeah.
right? So,
And like I always say, we have to fall apart one day. Well, okay, it's okay
okay,
to fall apart too. I mean, it's
definitely,
and if you need to like just
definitely,
do, like, stay in bed one day, well, do. I mean, if it's, especially if it's a rainy day, okay, there's no it's no sin, but
totally.
try to get up and have a shower.
At
or a,
least,
or a
at
bath
least.
with Epsom salts, if you can afford.
Oh, Rico. Well, I wish we could keep talking, but I thank you so much. It's so good to see you. It's been a
Yeah,
long
it's good
time
to
since
see
we've
you.
we've seen,
I know,
and I hope that we'll be able to do this when this all lifts and we'll actually have an in-person coffee chat. That would
sure, I
be
hope
really
so
great.
too. And you
Okay.
look fantastic.
Thank you.
I love your headphones. Look at
Don't
mine.
I
They're
look very, I look very official now. I just got
yes.
these and but they're very comfy and I feel that I look like I know what I'm doing even though I
Oh,
don't.
you totally. Oh God, you totally do. And you know what? I'm looking forward to the day where we can do a
Definitely.
storytelling show together with
Yes.
people, and
Yes. Me too.
give each
Me
other hugs.
too. I'm looking forward to the hug.
Um,
So virtual hug to you.
yes. Take
Thank you,
care.
Rico.
Love you.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
That was Rico Rodriguez, who is such a wonderful storyteller and just a charming man. And I'm so lucky that he agreed to chat with me. The two pieces you heard me just say that I really gleaned from his advice near the end of our chat is perspective, keeping perspective, which I think is really easy to lose perspective when we are amid all of this crazy and this whirlwind and everything's changing and everything's so uncertain. So perspective and keep living, because really what is the alternative? And I think if we can hold on to those two things, I'm really going to hold on to those two things because I think that they'll make all the difference in the world. So thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, be well.